23 years old. I've owned and managed my own business for the last 3 years full time. I am here today to tell you about how to get through the hard times in business and what the mindset is that you need to keep to understand how to get through the hard times in business. I will tell you, I've hit a lot of walls in my business. I've hit a lot of times where things feel like they're not going to work. Things feel like they're not going to go the way that I want them to go. Things feel like they're all going to fall down. I feel like I'm going to fail, all that stuff. And I've used this tactic to get by this every single time. And I'll tell you, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm moving forward. It makes me feel like I'm making something happen. It's super base level, but I want you to hear it. Business is business. And that is truly that. So many people get all caught up mentally and emotionally in business, right? They take these thoughts of whatever is going on in the business and they blow them out of proportion. They get overly upset. They get overly, excited, all these things. And business is truly an emotional roller coaster. Without a doubt, it's an emotional roller coaster. You are going to have times where you are on super high highs, and then you're going to have times, it could be within a 10-minute span, where you're on super low lows, right? Because that's business. There's so much going on, especially if you're doing business at volume and at scale, where you're running into human problems that you're trying to solve. People who are upset, people who don't get what they want, people who, you make mistakes as a business. Like, these are things that happen. So what I have taken on as the mindset is not like I'm just going to let this all go and like it is what it is, but business is business, okay? I am doing everything that I possibly can to make my business move forward. And if I know my head could hit the pillow every single night doing that, then at least I could have a little bit of clarity, right? At least I could have a little bit of closure knowing that at the end of the day, even though everything feels like it's constantly crazy, then I'm at least doing my best. I'm at least being honest and acceptable for my service, right? And if you could keep that mindset, you could at least sleep on the fact knowing that you're doing everything you can. And also what I want to tell you is I have talked to a lot of my friends who are also in business, and I have seen a lot of businesses be ran from a higher level. And I'll tell you, almost every single CEO's full-time job is just to put out fires. It's just to work on the problems that nobody else could work on. You are just a high-paid problem solver. So if you think that you will ever get away from problems in business, if you think you'll ever get away from upset people or situations that go south, it happens. This is business. This is human error. This is people trying to deal with other people, right? And that's business. And especially if you're doing business at scale, you need to understand that things are going to happen. Things are never going to go perfectly. And if you give up, if you let it pull you into this emotional spiral, if you let yourself fail, if you let yourself be defeated by every last thing that goes wrong in business, you're not going to have a life. You're not going to be happy. You're just going to let your business rule your life and rule your mentality, rule your brain. And I'm still learning this. I'm still trying to get better at this, but I'm making this video not only for you to understand, but for me to feel better, right? Because I've had a lot of times where things are not going the way that I want them to go, and I feel like I'm failing the people that I should be helping the most. And you have to just keep pushing forward and doing everything you can to make it work. Because the other thing too is that when you look in the past, the present moment is always seeming worse than it really is, right? So when you look in the past, you're like, oh, I flipped out because I thought that this was going to happen and it didn't. And Alex Hormozi has this one quote. I'm not going to say it perfectly, but he says, basically, your fears are only as bad as you make them in the present moment. And your fears only truly live in the future when you're predicting them, You don't know what's really going to happen in the future. All you know is what's happening in the present moment. So if you're constantly living in this future state, every time something that you think or you perceive is going to have a bad outcome, if you decide that that's going to just rule your emotion and make you feel like crap, and you're gonna make all these assumptions that for some reason it's gonna destroy everything and it's all gonna be terrible and it's gonna go as south as it possibly can go and as bad as it possibly can go, you're gonna be destroyed if you do that. So don't do that. Instead, understand that business is business and that we all are just humans trying to make something work for ourselves. And also, what is the alternative to running and owning your own business, being your own boss, making your own schedule, working towards something that you love? I tell people all the time, I don't have a job, I have a dream. And that is really what I focus on. I focus on the dream. I don't focus on showing up in the morning and leaving at 5. I focus on waking up and getting closer to my dreams. I focus on right before I'm going to bed, how close am I to my dreams? Am I closer? I'm writing stuff down to make sure I'm getting closer to my dreams. I'm taking action to make sure I'm getting closer to my dreams all day. I have a dream. And that is enough for me to continue forward with business. That is enough because I love what I do. I love being a business owner. I love being an entrepreneur. I love the struggle. I love the hustle. I love the build. I love the preparation. I love the game. I love it all. And for me, knowing that and knowing that business is business, things are going to happen. Humans are humans. And this is life, right? Like, I cannot let this pull me into an emotional spiral. You can't either, because you're just going to be miserable. And if you make these weird future assumptions about what some kind of situation could unfold to be, you're going to hate your life. And to be honest, you're going to look back in the future and be like, that was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So keep that in mind next time you're having trouble in business. And until next time, thank you so much for making it to the end. If this video helped you today, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you to all my people who are constantly in the comments. I love you. You are the reason why I continue forward with this channel, because I truly, truly, truly want to help. I want to give you my experiences in business, and I want to talk to you about these things so that we can grow together. So if you want to grow together, subscribe down below. I make new videos daily about business, entrepreneurship, motivation, inspiration, all that good stuff, straight from the eyes of a 23-year-old guy who's built something kind of cool at my age. I don't know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.